beat him in 2012.
Yeah.
Now, many of you would say it's extremely important that I win this election. We definitely need a congressman who can question Joe Courtney. We need a congressman who can call out Dan Malloy when he gets out of control. We need at least one individual. And I will do everything I can to do that. But there's other things we can do outside of politics. And one of the things that I've led was American Warrior. Does anybody ever hear American Warrior?
Yes.
American Warrior was really a vision. A few years ago I said, we need to be more patriotic, we need to make a difference, and inspire and motivate people to take writing letters to honor these great men and women like Warren Potty, just a wonderful man who served in World War II. But the bottom line is, we have made a difference, we've inspired people, and we've done it with not a dime from the government. You don't need government to lead the way in anything. The few things that they're responsible for, including national defense, now they want to cut $1 trillion with the hatchet. And that's because of out-of-control spending, borrowing, and taxation. And Joe Courtney's right in the thick of it. So with American Warrior, we've succeeded in another capacity outside of government. And I think that shows my ability to lead people. Joe Courtney, as you know, is a lifelong politician. He's been elected since the early 80s. He was the deciding vote of the Connecticut income tax. Go tell your Democrat liberal friends that when they get their paycheck, thank Joe Courtney. If he voted no, there would be no Connecticut income tax. It would have been blocked. Joe Courtney was one of the deciding votes of Obamacare. He has never in his 30-year political career voted against a tax increase. He has a problem. And he's a yes man. Yes, Ms. Pelosi. Whatever you need. And like Rob said, 99% of the time, it's 98.6. So I say 99. He always votes yes on things that are against what the interests of the 2nd District. Maybe San Francisco supports him, but we don't have any bays that look like San Francisco. So Joe has to go. And we've got a great motto for Joe. Joe the Taxman, raising your taxes for over a quarter century. So we will make sure Joe knows that's his new title pretty soon. There's two things that are motivating me to run for office. The first being my wife. My wife and me went through a 6-year journey so she could become an American citizen. And when you go through the journey legally, you start to realize there's privileges. Never mind any rights. There's privileges that many Americans take for granted. Me and my wife walked into the Department of Motor Vehicles. She wanted to get a license. They told her she could do it. We walked out a few minutes later, they said, you can't. You want to see somebody devastated? All she wanted was to get a chance to get a driver's license. It's a privilege that many people take for granted. She wanted to get a job. You can't apply to just any job, especially if you're doing it legally. So when she finally became a citizen, she could apply to any job. There's little things like that mean a lot to a lot of people. You can't get benefits, you can't file for unemployment, there's a lot of things. So as Americans, we have a lot of great privileges. When you're earning citizenship, like my wife had to earn it, when you're earning citizenship, like some of my soldiers in New York City had to earn it by going to Iraq and Afghanistan, you become pretty passionate about the immigration situation and how to make sure it stays pure. And there's some integrity in the process. So it's a very important issue for me, but I really learned how precious it is to be an American, how great of an honor it is to wear the uniform, serve this country, and just become an American citizen. It's a great thing. So for her, I fight hard, and for all the other citizens who earned it, all your parents and grandparents, I fight very hard for them. The other thing is my daughter. My daughter last year, we were blessed to have our first child, Alexandria Grace. She came out fighting, as you can imagine. My father's a fighter. But it ends up, she comes out, our daughter had transposition of the great arteries, meaning her heart, the arteries were balanced. So day 2 of her life, New Year's Eve, we were in Boston Children's. My daughter's fighting for her life. And they cooled down her body temperature down to 88 degrees. And what I said is, if my daughter can fight for her life, I can fight for our freedom, I can fight for her future, and I can fight for your future. I can fight for your family's future. But I knew I could do more. And I would do more, and I would fight hard to make sure I can represent her and make sure Obamacare doesn't take away future children's opportunities to have that surgery at Boston Children's Hospital. So it's another reason why I fight hard, because there's reasons to fight. And I have a couple examples in my family. We, as you can imagine, have a big journey. We have been working extremely hard. Tonight, we're blessed to have many of my leaders here, many supporters and new friends, and it's part of my family, Team Coutu. But what, but the bottom line is, tonight is a great example of how proud I am of my team. Tonight, we're here. Over the past 8 months, I've been involved with radio shows, 300 events. So we've been quite active, as you can imagine. Tonight we have at least 3 people going to other events. Not here. There are other RTCs, there are other events tonight. And as someone mentioned, I will be going away for 2 months. Actually 2.5 months. And during that time, the question is, what's the campaign going to do? My view is it's going to muster our team and make sure they're ready to fight. We have at least 20 dedicated volunteer leaders that are going to be visiting 30 town committees a month while I'm gone. They are going to be doing call banks. They're going to be doing door knocking. They're going to be waving signs. So we have an army in place, the best field operation in the state of Connecticut, with not one of them on payroll currently, and we will have that throughout the rest of the campaign. So we've worked very hard to organize a network that will propel us. And when I come back, we're going to be ready to fully engage Joe Courtney, win the convention, which we will do. I know we have very strong support. We've raised 10 times more than the other candidate. We have 50 endorsements. The other candidate has none. And we are working extremely hard to secure all the support in the second. If, by chance, there's a primary, I'm more than game. I don't know if any of you have seen, we had 60 4x8 billboards up. We had a 4x4 over here. We will put up 200 4x8 billboards if somebody wants to primary. We will make sure that we have 300 volunteers out there waving, shaking hands, calling people. So my game plan is bring it, because I'm ready to fight. For you, for your families, for all of our future. So with that, God bless America. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm more than willing to answer any questions from anyone in the audience. Yes? Cool.
Question for you regarding Linda McMahon out of Southern Connecticut. I understand she's running again for the Senate. Is there any cooperation between someone like her and you, get a concerted effort going? Because she's got plenty of money.
Right.
The question is...
Linda backs me, which is a good thing. I think Chris Shays backs me too. I know he does.